Hi guys, it's Amazing Purple Girl back with the excavation of Hobb's Barrow, and this is part 8. In the last part we managed to get milk and we met Lord Panswick, who it turns out was James all along. So let's get into it. And here we are at the old chapel, which is being rebuilt by Lord Panswick's labourers, who are temporarily our labourers for the excavation in day 3. But for now we need to get one of Mrs. de Plancy's cakes for Lord Panswick. Should I call him James or should I call him Lord Panswick? James, I think.
This must belong to Mrs. de Plancy.
Good day to you, pet.
Hello, Mrs. de Plancy. Do you still have some of your homemade Bakewell puddings, Mrs. de Plancy?
Oh, you're too late, pet. I've a few left, but they're set aside for someone else.
Might you please be able to bake me some more?
Sorry, I'm not in the mood for baking. Truth be told, my dear husband Albert passed away recently. Me thoughts are all over the shop.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Aye, he's in God's hands now.
The recipe could go all wrong.
Were you married to Albert a long time?
Aye, too many years to count. He were the cobbler here in Bewley, the most dashing cobbler in all of England, I used to tell him. Love is precious, pet. There's nought that can replace the hole it leaves in your heart.
I can relate to that in my own way. I wish you strength in this difficult time.
Thank you. With God's blessing, I'll get by.
He must have been the one who made the boots for Saxnot.
Does the name Saxnot mean anything to you?
Is that a village near Erdlow?
No, never mind. May I ask who you have set aside the puddings for?
Oh, Father Roach. He won't be back until tomorrow.
Won't they be off by then?
Not at all. Besides, pet, as I told you, I'm not in the mood for all this baking chatter.
Sorry, Mrs. de Plancy. Thanks for your time.
Lord be with you.
Right. Who's the grave digger?
The simple wooden cross bears a small plaque on which is inscribed the name Albert de Plancy.
Relative, are you?
No, just looking.
He were the cobbler. Who's
I
going
know.
to mend me boots now?
Find another cobbler?
Hello? Does this fresh grave belong to Mrs. de Plancy's late husband?
Aye.
Rather bare, isn't it?
My job is to dig the graves, not decorate them.
What can you tell me about Lord Panswick?
Naught to say, except don't be sniffing around his lordship's manor. You'll end up with a round of shot in you.
I beg your pardon?
You heard me. Just mind your own business around here.
Goodbye.
Ta-ra.
Yeah, you're a friendly fellow, aren't you?
Good day to you, pet.
Hello, Mrs. de Plancy. I saw your late husband's grave, Mrs. de Plancy. I am very sorry for your loss.
Thank you, pet. I'm ashamed to say I couldn't afford nought more than a simple wooden cross. You were a colourful man, our Albert. He deserves better. He loved his flower beds. He's only been gone a fortnight, and already his plants have gone to rot. May the Lord forgive me.
Plants are difficult to maintain. I'm sure Albert would understand.
His precious hippeastrum were the first to go. I would have loved to lay one on his grave.
What does a hippeastrum flower look like?
Oh, beautiful things they are. Tall stems topped with large red flowers. Hard to grow in this climate. They were his pride and joy. The remarkable thing is there's no scent to 'em. That's why he loved 'em so much. You see, he hated anything that smelled sickly sweet. Hippeastrum were just perfect. Let me know if you come across one, won't you?
Of course, Mrs. Duplancy. Thanks for your time.
Lord be with you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have seen a tall flower with red petals. So we'll go where that was.
These matched the description of the flowers Mrs. Duplancy mentioned.
No scent.
There's no scent.
You get away from my hippeastrum!
Apologies.
Move!
Hey,
Well, that confirms it.
you're such a bish.
Good day.
Hello.
I really need one of those hippeastrum flowers.
Why?
It's a long story.
For
Might you
cake.
please be able to get one for me? Or distract Miss Fenchurch so I can take one?
Those flowers are Miss Fenchurch's favourites. She spends hours looking after them. Sorry, Mum. It's just that I'm so worried about Mr. Ambrose.
The milkman?
Aye, we were to run away together today.
I see.
I'm worried sick that he stood me up. Without Mr. Ambrose, this job is all I have. I can't risk losing it over a flower.
I'm sorry, Miss Tompkins. I still haven't seen him.
Do you think he's abandoned me?
I'm sure that's not the case. He must have been delayed somewhere.
Could you try to find him for me, Mum?
Well,
Oh, please, Mum. I'd do anything for you if you found my love.
I can try.
Oh, thank you. You're ever so kind, Mum.
I need to find Mr. Ambrose so I can get the flower. I need the flower so I can get a cake. I need a cake so I can get the labourers. I need the labourers to excavate Hobb's Barrow.
What does Mr. Ambrose look like?
He's got brown hair.
I'm
Yeah.
afraid I'll need a bit more to go on.
Sorry, Mum. I'm too upset. Please find him, won't you?
Hey, stop your nattering and get back to your sweeping!
Sorry, Miss Fenchurch.
Right. Where am I going to find him? Oh, who's this man?
I've not seen him around the village before.
Let's talk to him.
Good day.
Hello there.
Hello.
My name is Thomasina. What's yours?
Ralph. Not
Hi,
seen you
Ralph.
around before.
I'm just visiting.
I could say the same about you.
What brings you to the market today?
I purchased a Scotch egg for me tea. You want a
Yum.
bite?
Not.
No, thank you.
Definitely not.
Do you know Mr. Ambrose, the milkman?
I do, yes.
Have you any idea where he might be?
He is usually here by now.
We know.
So I heard.
He normally arrives via the road to the east of Bewley.
Thank you.
Well, we'll check that out.
I'm looking for some help with an excavation tomorrow. Might you be interested?
Sorry, miss.
Nope.
I've already got my own job.
Enjoy your Scotch egg.
I will.
Oh, I will. I won't, but you will.
There we are. Your shells are looking much more interesting now. I pestered Mother for years to let me bring some of your treasures here. I think she's worried that I want to follow in your path. She has hidden most of your discoveries away. I had to beg her to bring me to visit you, you know. I shouldn't worry you with all that. Do you know that I have a story for each of these pots? Well, I don't know if they're all true, but they are my memories. Even though I was so young, I still remember our adventures together. Would you like me to share my memories of them? Well, I'm going to, whether you like it or not. We talked about this one already. The red urn you buried in the garden for me. It seems like such a long time ago.
Oh, nothing that.
I think you brought this one back from a trip abroad. I would have loved to go with you, but Mother didn't want me to. I remember you being so proud of it. It looks ancient. You were incredibly excited about this one. I hadn't gone on an expedition with you yet. You were so happy about it, showing it to Mother and I. You didn't stop talking about it for hours. I thought, how can Daddy be so excited over some old broken pottery? But it wasn't long until I understood. We found this one together in that mucky old barrow near Avebury. I think it was the second time you'd taken me on a dig with you. I remember you bringing it up to your face to look inside and shrieking in horror. "There's a bloody rat in there," you screamed.
Yes, that would make you shriek in horror, wouldn't it?
Mother was so angry when you brought this one home, wasn't she? "William, that simply will not do. It's taking up all the space on the mantelpiece." Once you moved it to your study, I remember creeping in to take a peek at it. This is from the first dig I remember you taking me on. The excavation of West Kennet Long Barrow. I found it wedged behind a stone as you ate your sandwich. You said, "Now there's a tiny urn for a tiny girl." I almost forgot. While I was searching for your pots in the shed, I found one of your manuscripts. I thought Mother had burnt all your notebooks, but she missed one. It was an account of barrows across the east of England. I managed to read it all before Mother took it away. Daddy, it was fascinating. I've decided that is what I want to do with my life. I'm going to travel the country, excavating and documenting my own finds. Well, as soon as I'm old enough to escape Mother, that is. When you're feeling better, we can go out on expeditions together again, just like we used to. I promise you'll get better, Daddy. I'll do whatever it takes to make it so. There's something ahead on the road. My God!
Oh dear. That's not nice.
Mr. Ambrose! I'm going to help you. What cruelty is this? Let me free you, sir. Curses! The rope is bound too tightly. I can't even free his mouth.
Get your knife.
Don't worry, sir. I'll find a way to free you. Please hold still. I'm going to cut you free. He had been so tightly bound that I could barely cut through without hurting him further. His mouth was stuffed full of flowers of a most peculiar scent. I was dismayed at such savagery, and wondered if the feral folk Father Roach had mentioned were responsible for this abhorrent act. After some considerable effort, I managed to cut him free. Are you all right?
Who were lost in visions of hell itself, the devil. I saw the devil.
Who did this to you?
I don't remember. Oh, the terrible sights I saw. I won't forget them till my last breath.
Are you Mr. Ambrose?
Yes, Edward Ambrose.
You were to meet Miss Tompkins today.
Oh, my love.
See
Oh,
Herbert.
my darling love.
Let me take you to her. Here, take my hand.
See you drinking the
As we
milk
made
down
the
there.
arduous trek to Panswick Manor, I probed Mr. Ambrose on who had done this to him. He insisted that he didn't remember anything, except for his nightmarish visions.
That'll be the flowers.
My love.
Eddie! Jesus, what happened to you? Were you in a fight?
Now, fret not, my love.
I thought you'd abandoned me.
Never. Thank your friend here for helping me out of a bind.
Oh, Eddie!
Let's get out of here, my darling.
Hang on.
You thieving bint! I'll have your guts for garters!
Bint. Not nice.
Stick it where the sun don't shine, you bitter old sow!
The cheek!
Here you are, Mum.
Thank you, Miss Tompkins.
No, thank you for finding my poor Eddie.
Aye, thank you, lass.
Let's go, Eddie. I'm never setting foot on this god-forsaken estate again.
All that for cake.
Good luck, you two.
Right. Can't pick up the sweet... Oh, sheep.
How very bucolic.
Okay. Do I go to the grave or to Mrs. Duplancy? I think it's Mrs. Duplancy. Let's try it anyway.
I have something for you.
You found them? Oh, you dear child. Let's take them straight to Albert. You'll come with me, won't you?
Of course, Mrs. Duplancy.
Yep, I'm not that mean.
You know, the things I miss most about him are the things that used to annoy me. The click of his jaw as he chewed his sandwiches, leaving his tools all around the house. The way he'd never back down from an argument. He's just quiet at home now. Silence. The funny thing is, that's what he always craved. Peace and quiet.
Well,
He were a good man, our Albert.
Sounds like he was. I'm so sorry.
Do you fear death, pet?
I do, but it's best not to dwell on such thoughts. Life is for living, not for worrying about what comes after.
I fear it, but my faith keeps me going. I know I'll meet him again, in heaven.
Take that thought forward, Mrs. Duplancy. Remember it. One day, you will be reunited.
Thank you. Oh, those flowers look beautiful.
They do.
Albert will be smiling down on us. Pet, I left me basket inside the church. You'll find some Bakewell puddings in there. You can have them.
Oh, you...
I insist. You've brought an ounce of happiness into my day, dear. It's only just that I return some.
Thank you, Mrs. Duplancy.
To be truthful with you, I was saving them for myself. I shouldn't be so selfish. Lord forgive me.
You're nothing of the sort.
I'll stay here with Albert a bit longer. You go back to your day, Pet. Lord be with you.
And you, Mrs. Duplancy.
you do that. It was a lovely couple of days and now it's peeing down. Right. Go and get some cake.
Here they are.
Ah, can't map. Got your cake.
The vision returns.
I come bearing gifts.
Freshly baked gifts?
Yep.
Yes. 3 of Mrs. de Plancy's famous Bakewell puddings.
You are an amusing creature, Thomasina.
What do you mean?
You must think me a scoundrel of the highest order for asking you to undertake such folly. Of course I would have lent you my men either way. I merely desired an excuse to share a cake with you.
Lord Panswick.
I take no pleasure in watching you scurry about Bewley to fulfill my every whim.
Sure.
Or do I?
You do.
I do not find this amusing in the slightest. You have no idea what I had to go through to get these for you.
True.
Oh, I do. And that's what I admire about you. Tenacity. Even in the face of something you know to be absurd. You don't give up, do you?
Never. Though in this case, I ought to have.
Now then, will you share one of these tempting confections with me?
Why not? Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Splendid! I'm glad the rain doesn't put you off.
No.
You like to live a little dangerously, don't you, Thomasina? Let us stroll to the beck.
That sounds nice.
Didn't even notice the rain.
We walked side by side down to the beck, his hand occasionally brushing my own. Despite Lord Panswick's entertaining company, I had an overwhelming feeling that time was being wasted. We ate those cakes down by the beck, and as he attempted the most charming lines he could muster upon me, I only had one thing on my mind.
The barrow?
Father.
Oh, father.
Could he be saved from his suffering?
Oh, of course.
Was the answer to be found within Hobb's Barrow? I ached to find out. I didn't even notice the taste of those famous puddings.
It'd be tomorrow, love.
Seemingly disheartened by my lack of enthusiasm, Lord Panswick soon marched me back toward the ruined chapel.
Chaps, listen up. You're to assist Miss Bateman's excavation tomorrow. What time, Miss Bateman?
Early morning, if you don't mind.
We'll be there whenever you need us, miss.
Hobb's Barrow. On the Bryden estate, if I'm not mistaken.
We'll be there.
Take your tools with you. Miss Bateman will need every assistance we can provide her with.
It's no bother.
Splendid!
Thank you, lads.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll see you later, my dear.
Thank you, Lord Panswick.
We're finishing up here, miss. See you tomorrow morning, all right?
Certainly. I appreciate your help. Well, that's a relief to have my crew assembled for tomorrow. Hey, boy.
Okay. So, back to the village, I guess.
Joe, perhaps you've had enough sugar?
Don't you start and all.
A heap of glistening sugar cubes.
Hands off me sugar.
I think this is supposed to be for all the patrons, sir.
I said hands off.
Come on, Joe. Be nice to our visitors.
Ha! This place has gone to buggery.
Wow. Yeah, that's new. That was not in when I was testing this game. Right, Mr. Shoulder.
Hello again, Mr. Shoulder.
Miss Bateman.
Let's talk.
I've recruited the help of some local labourers to help with the excavation.
Marvellous. When do we start?
Tomorrow morning, first thing.
Wonderful.
Can I count on your assistance?
Of course. I'll meet you here at the Plough and Furrow.
You actually gonna turn up this time?
What else can you tell me about this sack's knot?
Try not to worry yourself too much with these old stories. Leave those to the locals, Miss Bateman.
Have others spoken of goblins appearing in their dreams?
A dream is a dream, that is all. They merely make for good stories.
I know.
But to answer your question, no, not to my knowledge.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Shoulder.
I'm sure the locals have filled you in already, lass.
You cut quite the mysterious figure. Most had little to say.
It's true. I do tend to keep my head down. When one gets to my age, one grows very comfortable in one's home. I like the isolation of the moors. I wouldn't change it for anything.
I take it you don't get many visitors.
Oh no, nobody bothers me. That's the perk of living so far out, huh? Just me and me hens. I used to come into Bewley more often, back before my health went to buggery.
Everything's going to buggery, apparently.
What do you think of Bewley?
Whilst one could consider the villages to be rather unenlightened, this place has its charm. The market's in town today. You can see that folk want fun out here.
I know where I can find a Scotch egg, that's for certain.
Do treat yourself to one. You'll not taste better.
There's an obsession with Scotch eggs in this game. I don't like them.
Is there anything else I should know about Hobb's Barrow, Mr. Shoulder?
No, lass. I'm certain we will know a lot more about it by this time tomorrow.
I hope so. What else can you tell me about the previous excavation?
I think I covered it earlier, Miss Bateman. As you yourself said, it were a time of superstitious hysteria.
What was it like, living in that period of hysteria?
I kept to myself. It didn't really affect me. My hens stayed healthy and their eggs kept me well fed. If one can keep a level head in such situations, one can get by.
Indeed. Is there anything else I should be aware of before my own excavation? No other ghouls I should be worried about?
You know the answer to that. The corruption in that soil were all in the minds of men.
Joe, you are still adding sugar. You have more sugar than drink in there.
What do you make of Lord Panswick?
His lordship is an important man in Bewley, as I'm sure you have gathered. His family has commanded much respect here for many generations.
Do you respect him as a leader?
I do. He wants the best for the village. Without his influence, the railway line would have never come through here.
Does he want more visitors?
Aye, I believe so. He has great ambitions for Bewley and wants to share them with the world.
Well, he's not getting on with Cyril then, is he?
What do you make of Mildred Walker?
Who?
I believe she's also known as Mother Mildred.
Oh, we used to get about when we were children. Our paths have not crossed in a long while.
What do you think of Charles Bryden?
He is a decent man. It must have been hard for him after that terrible business with his brother.
Without a doubt. I must say I had assumed you had at least spoken to him about my visit.
Sorry, lass. I had no intention of giving you the runaround. Again, I can only apologise.
If you don't mind me asking, what is the nature of your ongoing illness?
Oh, just the ravages of age. Getting off this bench will be a small battle in itself. Something you won't need to worry about for many a year, Miss Bateman.
Growing old is a blessing and a curse. And what of your recent fever?
An ordeal it were. So much tossing and turning. But I'm right as rain now, especially after a mug of ale. Don't worry about me.
What are Lord Panswick's plans for Bewley?
He's rebuilding an old chapel on his estate. He seeks to bring God back to these lands.
But what of St. Edmunds? I think Father Roach might argue God has never left.
Indeed. Let's leave such arguments to them, shall we?
Thank you for your time.
Aye, Miss Bateman. We will speak more later.
You found old Leonard, I see.
Yep.
Yes, finally. Does the name Saxnot mean anything to you?
No, I can't say it does.
Goodbye.
See you soon.
Right, well, what have we managed to do? We got the cake and we got the labourers, and that's pretty much all we've done, isn't it? And then spoke to old Len for a bit. So, yeah, don't feel like I've done much, but I thought we were going to get on to day 3 in this one, but it doesn't look like it, so definitely in the next one. I'm not sure what's left to do in day 2. I will have a think if I can shake my old memory, but for now we're going to stop. Thank you for watching, hope you've enjoyed it. Maybe give it a like. If you're not already subscribed, you could subscribe so that you see when the next part comes up. I am planning on getting these up one a day now. So as of recording this, I've just edited and uploaded part 6. I have edited part 7, so that will go up tomorrow. Obviously that's already up by the time you're watching this, but as of recording it. And then this one will go up the day after. So this should be Monday that this is up. And then in the meantime, I'm hoping to play through to the end tomorrow, which is Sunday. And I shall have a number of videos going up each day. So that's the plan. Anyway, for now, bye.